everyone, welcome to today's struggle of making a tag pocket. I had already followed a video by Sabrina Orskovic, and I made like that prototype, and then I wanted to recreate it. I think she gave exact measurements when she did hers, but I wanted to use just a bigger set of tags. And I was going to see if I could figure out the measurements and recreate it like she did. So here I already have 2 pieces of book pages that I glued together. And I'm just gluing them to some scrapbook paper. And I'm going to cut them out. And then I'm going to sew. Because we're sewing them together and you want the sewing on all 4 sides, I'm going to sew 2 sides together first and then sew it all together. So I'm just going to indicate I'm sewing that little curve and I'm sewing down one side right there. Now make sure you go ahead and put your tags together so you know which sides to sew on. And then I'm going to put together and sew on the remaining 3 sides, and that made it look like, you know, you got stitches on all 4 sides. Or is that actually 4, 5, 6 sides? So of course I'm edging everything, grunging it up, making it look sweet. And let's see, we're going to figure out how to make that pocket. So I'm measuring my tag. Now my tag is probably going to be different than your tag size. So my tag size is 2.5 by 3. So I look on my little punch board. Well, I'll look on the big one first, and it didn't have that size. So I checked to see if it was on my little punch board, and it was. Is that a punch board or envelope punch board? I don't know. So the size I needed was 4.5. So that's the size that I cut my piece of scrapbook paper. I had to first go through and find what I wanted to use for the pocket. I grabbed that piece of music paper first because I know it's pretty sturdy and holds up well to bending. But I wanted something different, so I grabbed some more of that paper. I believe it's from the same pack. I'm pretty sure I got it at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. I don't know now. So I got it 4.5-inch square. Then I'm going to score it at 2.5. So I'm lining up that top left edge to the ruler. And then I'm just going to use that arrow and line that up with that score line. I just turn and punch, score, turn, punch, and score. And I'm always lining up the score line to that arrow, not the ruler. And I just round off those corners, and then I have to ink it up. Now since the inside is pretty white, and I don't like white, I have to do a little stamping on it with my favorite script stamp. So now we're not going to glue this, so don't grab your glue yet. We are just going to fold them in, and then we're going to prepare the papers to go inside. Now I had some difficulty with this. I think because I used heavyweight presentation paper and I used 3 sheets. So that top flap wanted to stay popped open. So think about this ahead of time. That paper there is just regular coffee weight paper. No, it's not. Coffee stained paper, copy paper. And here I'm trying to do math in my head, figuring out I need 2.5-inch strips, 6 inches long. So when you fold it in half, it's 3. So my folded page ends up to 2.5 by 3. But you know, I struggle with math and anything cognitive. So because I used the heavyweight paper, it made it bulky. And I could have probably, if I'd have known that was going to happen, just used 2 sheets. And that would have just left, 4 pages. Or if I'd used regular copy paper, I could have put in the 3 sheets and there would have been no problem. But I don't discover this till later. When it's too late, then I try to fix the problem. So that's where it's going to go. And I'm going to reinforce that seam there where that flat bends. I'm going to use washi tape. On the first sample, I sewed in that little signature. This time I wanted to try to use my new long reach stapler. I've been wanting to get one for like 2-3 years now. It finally come up to, on my want list, and it's like, yeah, okay. I will use it. I just have to get used to it because when you staple down, you really don't know where the staples are going to come out. So I did boo-boo the first try, and I just took out the staple and then realigned it. I like doing the Vanna White. Voila, look what I got finally. So I don't know why I struggle when I try to put things on the edge. Even if I had taken it to the sewing machine, I know I struggled because everything just kept wanting to move on me. So, like I said, this first staple is going to be in the wrong position because I didn't line it up properly. I was getting the thumbs down there. And staple remover to the rescue. I'm trying to see and gauge, how many millimeters from the edge do the staples come out. And I just got lucky the second try. And then I realized, well, I should have put the staples the other way around because the sharp edges are now on the outside. And I could have, pressed them in really, really well, but I thought, let me just cover that up with some washi tape. I have a whole container full of it, might as well, use it, right? And I'm also using the glue stick to make sure it stays. Do it for some more reinforcement. I think these are so cute. I mean, Sabrina, the lady that came up with it, had a really neat idea. Now this part, I struggled with this the first time too. I never know where to glue or where to put the glue on. Here I have to punch the hole in a little ticket. I have to make it authentic, So the first try, I think I'm doing it right, glue there. And I'm sticking it down. But the flap is not wanting to close. So it's like, it won't even fit. So while that's drying, and before I get sad, I go ahead and glue it on 3 sides. That way there's a little tuck spot on the top. Let's press it good, make sure it gets a good seal there. And then I figure while that is drying, she made a little tuck spot on the side. She put a little card in. So I'm looking through the ephemera that came with that design pack. It's called A Touch of Spring by Artie Mays. And I see this little thing. It's the first thing I saw to grab to show you that something can go there. I decided not to use it though. I want to use it somewhere else. So here I'm punching a hole. Then I couldn't find my hole reinforcers. I put them where I think I'll remember, which is useless because I can't remember. So after a quick search for them, I couldn't find them, so I decided just to put a little eyelet in there. So I'm trying to figure out why this is not fitting. I figure, well, maybe I just don't have it low enough. And luckily it came out without ripping too much. So I use my little distress oxide to age that spot up so it's not rent, it's aged, right? So there I think I have it. Okay, but it keeps popping up. And then I'm like, what is this Jack in the Box thing going on? So I put another score line thinking maybe that'll help train the paper to just fold down over the bulk of those pages that are inside. So I'm like going back to the prototype thinking, well, what did I do wrong? And I eventually get it down. It was a matter of moving it down a bit and putting that other fold in there and just kind of training the paper to stay down, or the flap to stay down. So then I went ahead and found a tag that was in the kit and that little card in the kit. And that's it. So I hope you enjoy. I will link Sabrina's original video. And I hope you have fun making one and don't struggle like I did. See y'all later. All right, bye-bye.